Happy VA Wednesday. So today we're going to be talking about what a VA manual underwrite is, when you might need one, and what I'm looking for if we're doing a VA manual underwrite. Now, I did a video about this a year ago. It's a little rambly. So I was like, let's do a new, more concise and direct version. Now, if you're new to the channel, my team's licensed in 50 states to help you with VA mortgages. We do all mortgage types. And I've been the #1 VA purchase loan officer for the last 2 years, thanks to all of you guys. So yes, call us. We want to help. Seriously, seriously. And we waive our lender fee. 786-933-2077. Shameless plug over. Okay, so first of all, do all lenders do VA manual underwrites? No. There's some lenders where if the system says no, they're just like, bye, you don't qualify. And you're like, well, wait, is there anything? Bye. Which is horrible. It's not what you want to have happen to you. So generally what happens is when you fill out an application with a lender, we're going to pull your credit and we're going to run it through 2 systems, DU and LP. Those are both desktop underwriting. So simple terms, beep, boop, bop, boop, the computer's making a decision based on your information and credit report. Now, if it says approve eligible, let's go. We just have to make sure that everything matches what you entered. If it says refer, that is when we're going to look at doing a VA manual underwrite. It's basically a human underwriter. That's what it is, guys. It's a human underwriter that's looking for specific compensating factors. So since the computer said, refer, too high risk, the humans have to come in and say, hey, this is why it's not high risk, okay? That is what we're trying to do. We're looking at your situation. Sometimes you end up on the phone with me and I'm like, hey, like what happened? I'm trying to puzzle piece why the computer is not a fan so that I can make it make sense for my underwriter why you're not a risk. Okay, look, we do a lot of VA manual underwrites. My team's really good at them. We're always going to be direct and honest with you guys about, yeah, we can do this right now, or no, like, can you do this? You know, really help you guys get to the finish line. So what are the big things we're looking for? Number 1, credit history. So VA itself does not have a credit score requirement. Where I usually see the computer start to refer people is when you're under a 600 credit score. Just because you have a low credit score doesn't mean your credit history is really bad. The key thing I'm looking for is no lates within a year. This is just on VA manual underwrites that I need no lates within the last year. Now, once in a while, there may be an exception. If, for example, let's say you set up auto pay once and it didn't go through, but if you're currently late on your bills, if you weren't paying your car payment every single month up until now, it's not gonna work. Okay. And look, I always want to be really, really transparent with you guys. I'm not going to BS you. I'm not going to be like, oh, apply for fun. No, look, we're always happy to look at everything, but if you're not currently paying your bills, I'm not going to be able to convince an underwriter that you're going to pay your mortgage. It's common sense. Okay. So we're really looking for 1 year, no lates. Now, what else am I looking for? I'm looking for rental history or housing history. So whether you rent or you own, I'm looking for a 2-year history, no lates within the last year. Once again, I'm showing that underwriter, hey, the computer didn't like them, but look, they've paid their rent on time for the last year. They have no lates. They had an isolated incident and everything's better now. Because usually that's what it is. Usually it's something like someone gets out of the military, it takes a while to get the full VA disability, and you know, life happens, or someone ends up in a medical situation that just throws their whole life askew. Life happens. We just have to show that since that event occurred, that you've done some level of rebuilding and you're in a good position to buy a house now. So with rental history or housing history, no lates within the last year. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to say is because we do work with a lot of clients who may have experienced homelessness, they could currently be homeless, or they may be living with a family member. Living with a family member is really common right now. So if you're living with a family member and if you are not paying rent, I am going to need a letter from your family member that says you have been living there rent-free. If you're currently homeless, I will need a letter explaining, hey, I am currently homeless. This is where I'm living. In addition, if I cannot show rental history or housing history, I am going to need some level of reserves in your bank account. So let's talk about what reserves are. Lenders think of reserves like if I say, hey, I need 2 months of reserves. If your projected mortgage payment's going to be $2,000 a month, I need $4,000 in a bank account, or a little bit more than $4,000 in stock. I need money set aside so I can say to the underwriter, hey, yeah, they've been living with family, or unfortunately they've been experiencing homelessness, but they have money set aside, right? And you may be like, well, why would I set aside money if I'm living with a family member? It's for the simple reason that I'm trying to show the underwriter that you will make the payment. Since I can't show them you've been making the payment, by having that money over here, it helps, okay? So that's something to keep in mind right now, whether you're living with family, experiencing homelessness, like save up as much as you can. And I know that sounds so ridiculous to say, but seriously, what they're gonna be looking for is, can you make the payment, okay? Just remember that. That's what an underwriter is always looking for. Like, we are here to get you to the finish line, but it's our job to make sure that once we get you to the finish line, you can make the payment, okay? What else am I looking for? No negative bank statements. Like, let's say that we have, a 2-year rental history. You've been paying your rent on time. You have no lates within a year. What could derail us? Negative bank statements. So if your accounts are currently overdrawn, get back into a positive position, right? But figure out why you went negative, because that's going to be a question I ask. I'm going to say, hey, look, like, I see that you've got money in your account now, but you have $200 in overdraft fees. What happened? Okay. And so look, analyzing your finances is something you should do every single day, no matter what, right? Sign up for one of the apps. I like Monarch. That's my favorite one. It can send you alerts, like really get granular with your spending, because we're seeing so many people spend money, they don't even know they're spending, right? The average American has over $200 a month in subscriptions. That's just subscriptions. It's crazy. So if your accounts have some level of overdrawn in the last year, we're definitely going to be asking what happened. So why is it, and it could be something as simple as, maybe you weren't managing your money, but you're like, yeah, I started to manage my money. I didn't even know this was happening. I see a lot of that. The other reason you really want to check your bank statements, this is so messed up. I see so many banks where literally, let's say you go to the gas station and you buy gum, and then your paycheck's supposed to clear the same day. They clear the gum and hit you with a negative and a big fat fee, then they show your paycheck. So you want to catch them on that too and be like, hey, like, there's no reason my paycheck should hit at noon. Like, you guys had the money through auto, direct deposit, but you're hitting me with gum and a $20 to $30 late fee. There's a lot of that going on. It's absolutely outrageous. And unless you catch it, they can keep on doing it. So that alone is a reason to be checking your bank statements. But we will be asking a question. And here's the other thing. Should you go shopping? Because there are some lenders that are like, yeah, go shopping. We'll underwrite it once you're in contract. I always say, if you're a VA manual underwrite, do not go shopping until I get you through underwriting. And I fully underwrite my pre-approvals. The reason I want to do that is because, look, a manual underwriter, you have a human that's putting their license. Seriously, the underwriter's license is on the line. So there often can be more questions. There's more hoops than if the computer just accepts you automatically. So I always like to get you fully underwritten before you go shopping, because I want to make sure you're bulletproof. I want to make sure you're in a good position to buy, and I don't want you to lose or waste money. So look, VA manual underwrites overall, love them. We do a ton of them. And look, we've helped so many people into houses by doing a VA manual underwrite. One of the things I see the most of right now is there's new build communities where their lenders don't know how to do it. And we're like, hey, we can do it. Like, let us do it. Let us do it. We want to help. So questions, comments, reach out. You can hop on the calendar, run your scenario by the team. Now, of course, to really see if it's going to work, we will need an application. To see if the computer will accept your file, I need to do a hard credit pull. Like, seriously. With VA especially, there's so many declines off of a soft credit pull that I'm like, no, we need to do a hard credit pull. But look, we're your team. We're your backup. We're here to help you get to the finish line. Just reach out and let's start putting the puzzle pieces together. You may be ready now, or you may need to tweak a couple things. But here's the thing. I've had so many clients over the years, guys, where maybe we talked to them 1 year and it took a year, maybe it took 2 years for them to get their ducks in a row, but they got those ducks in a row and they're homeowners now. So you can be a homeowner too. We may just need to work the puzzle pieces, but let's get started. Thanks for watching.